Hello, GOL community. Welcome back on here. This is another Fireside chat. This is our business development that we do monthly within our group for the professional members. This is always recorded. This is the month of June. So if you're watching this later, this is June. I think everybody's out vacationing. The weather's nice, but we've got our diehards on here and our committee. We've got Kim Harrison coming in for a Fireside chat. And then we've got our guest speakers. So I'm going to announce Will Green with BSG Connect. He's on our screen virtually. Say hi, Will.
Hi, how's it going?
With your picture.
He would do that, wouldn't he?
He just likes to keep it spicy. And then our other guest speaker is Bryan Bowermaster with Bowermaster Productions. And today's topic is going to be maximizing your social media and your podcasting skills and strategies. And so Bryan has put together a format of all this golden nuggets for us. And it really is, you know, there's a point when we just need to learn the simple tools of how we can do it. And then there's other points where we want to know the right people who we can contact. So sometimes it's not how, but who, but also who can help us, who can point us in the right direction, who can, you know, and if we need to pay for the services or, you know, do, you know, get help that way, that's always there too. And so what I love about our community is we have so many people that are heart-centered and they just want to give. And I'm going to bring it a little bit closer. I'm going to bring it around. But Bryan and I were just talking. So Bryan is joined our community and he's going to be representing us and doing some videography at some of our bigger events and helping us with our own platform. But do you want to just share kind of like what we talked about a little bit where you're wanting to, you know, when you come to events, what your intention is?
Oh, yeah. So first of all, grateful to be here. This is awesome. I absolutely love what you guys are doing in this network. It's profound. And I truly believe, I just put out a post today that I believe this is going to be the future of the way communities work in business. I really do. I just feel like people are going to come back to this. They're going to remember that the only way we work is by recognizing that we do rely on each other, even if the individualistic society has the illusion that we don't have to, because we know it's not true. So anyway, to your point here, what I feel led to do is to anywhere that you can see me, I want to help people from where they are use the tools they have to better their business. So I'm just going to offer any advice, any insights, any tips and tricks I've learned along the way. It's amazing how many things we all know from what we do. They're extremely valuable to other people. Just because they don't have the bandwidth to maybe think of every little thing, all we got to do is pass that along. So that's my plan, is I'm going to pass on little things whenever I can that will help you guys be able to use the visual arts to change the game.
I love it. I love it. And it's coming from your heart and that intent to be able to pour into others. And Will has been part of this from day one, actually minus 30. So we were together at lunch and we really like part of, you know, the start of GOL is where we talked about bringing heart-centered people together. I think we said rad people together, like really cool, positive people. But Will, do you want to hop on really quick? I know we're going to have opportunities that you're going to jump on and share from a marketing perspective, but do you want to just share really quick about, you know, your perspective and part in GOL? Will Green.
Or not, that's fine. No, I'm just kidding. Will Green remains.
Your mic is muted.
This is his dramatic debut. That's why.
Hey, sorry about that. Yeah, no, I was having phone difficulties, technical difficulties. So, you know, really, you know, it all stems from your story, right? Like what we want to do is we want to be great storytellers right from the beginning, right? We want to understand where the story begins and where it ends, you know, and how that affects each and every individual that interacts with your brand. And there are many different ways to tell that story, right? Video being, of course, a primary leader for us and what we do at BSG Connect through Bryan, but then also other options, right? So, yeah, definitely excited to do that, to get in.
Good. I like it. So what we put together, so Bryan has created a outline of what he wants to share. And I think what I'll have, because you two also work together, but I think what we'll do is, because it is a fireside chat, this is, you got Kim here and myself and then Will, and it's that collaboration where we'll ask questions. So at any point, it's not just this full presentation. We'll definitely, chime in, and as we go through this, I know Will has a lot of words of wisdom when it comes to breaking down how to express your brand, how to get the message out, and how to truly connect with people. So without further ado, should we get started on the PowerPoint?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if you'd like to.
Okay. So I'm gonna. There we go. Okay. It's on here. I always hate this little guy here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so just to recap, the topic of today's fireside chat is maximize your podcast and social media strategies. And this is going to be through your marketing and videography specialists here. And I'm going to see how I get this to move. There we go. Okay. I'll let you take it over, Bryan.
Okay, thank you. And I don't know if you wanted me to show this off first. And I can actually just kind of bring these, if they can still see me, are we able to toggle to the back to the camera just for a second? I was going to show. If you turn it here.
Oh, here, let me
Yeah.
stop
You want
share.
to sit here?
Yeah.
Okay, before we
If you
get
just-
started with that, there we go.
So I just wanted to do something real quick to just kind of show the example of where maybe people are. So I'm just going to briefly show you guys some things, and you may recognize what some of these things are. Okay. I can't tell if the lighting's actually. It's
Like a
tough with top
soundboard.
lighting. Yeah, there we go. Okay, this one's probably the most commonly recognized. Many people will know what that is. Okay. Yeah. We got this here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know what that
Yeah, like
is.
a gyroscope and-
Yeah, that's commonly known as well, I won't tell you yet. And then this is just a bunch of
Don't hit that.
amazing little.
Here, we'll do that. We'll take flight. Yeah, I have my own
Bring
drone.
it close here. Look at that drone. That's a good handheld drone. So the point of me showing you guys all this is to let you know that that's everything you have to know if you're going to do anything. Just kidding. Actually, I want you to look at everything I just showed you and forget about it. Okay? All of this needs to go away from your thinking. If you're thinking about doing any video for your business, unless you plan to be a video professional, you don't need any of it. You literally don't. The only thing you need to do, and I'm going to bounce off of a little bit of what Will said right off the bat, is because you have to truly know why, your why. And that's your story. That your story is so valuable, so important. And then we can jump into that whenever you want. The first thing is not only your why, but I'd also like to say, why do you want to use video? That's another thing. It's like, what's the point? And if your reason is because it works and everyone else does it, well, that's true. There is some truth to that. And I don't know what you have queued up on this, but I imagine the slides will probably match pretty well. And by the way, I did not include a ton about podcasting, but I will augment everything to that if there's anything that we want to reference regarding podcasting, because you can do this all the same way with the same mentality. So there are some stats, which I do want to share because stats are fun. Some of us are science minded. We want to see the proof. We want to know, okay, well, why video? Let's just go with the no-brainer, straightforward stuff. More than half of shoppers online say that it's helped them to decide on specific brands to buy. That's huge. So if it doesn't matter what business you're in, right? If you're out there and maybe you wrangle cats for a living, it doesn't really matter what you do. There's an important factor to somebody finding you and learning and really being able to have a palpable experience with who you are and how you serve, because that's what people are using to make decisions. 84% of people say that they've been convinced to buy a product or service by watching a brand's video. 78% of marketers say video has directly helped to increase sales. So from both sides, consumer and business side, video is useful to all of us. 93% of brands got a new customer because of a video on social media. So if you think it's a sea of never-ending videos and there's no point, I won't stand out, you've got to stop thinking that way, because somebody is going to come across your video at that right time, and it's going to be that extra sale you got that month that had nothing to do with the bazillion other things you were trying to do. Don't get me wrong, those bazillion other things are valuable too, but don't skimp on putting yourself out there. Let's see here. Oh, and this is a great one. 94% of, and by the way, the first subtitle for this, I wanted you to know that this is beneficial to both your current relationships and new ones. Okay, so a lot of times we'll think about just generating new sales, but we've got to remember, we've got a relationship already, a community already with people that do care about your videos. But I'll get into that section first or next. This is all about new relationships. 94% of video marketers say video has helped increase their user understanding of their products and services. That's huge. So that kind of does tie right into your current relationships. And also, viewers claim they retain 95% of a message when obtained via a video. And this is totally true. Not only do we process 60,000 times faster in video than through text, but people retain the information, which is extremely powerful when it comes to, okay, I'm driving down Eagle Road now, and I'm going to take my mind off of the traffic and think about some of those things that inspire me and some of the things I've been wanting to get done. And boom, your business pops up in my mind because I remember that video. I remember that clever messaging. I remembered your joyous attitude when you were laughing and talking with your customers. Those things matter. It's extremely powerful. I'm trying to get to my next thing here. Second.
I would say just from an experience 2
Mhm.
years in GOL, I consistently have people that kind of stalk us.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, I stalked Kim for
Yes.
a while. I wanted to see what Wine Woman Wealth was about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I watched the photography, some videos she did for a while, and kind of got a pulse on it. And then I have a lot of members that say, I watched you for 6 months. I watched you for a year.
Yeah.
A year.
Yeah.
And then they jump in and they're like cannonball jumping.
Excellent point. Yep.
And so it just takes people, I think, that they want to see you.
Yep.
You know?
Cultivation and
Mhm.
nurturing. Yes. You have a culture that's happening, and you have, people need to really build that trust with you. And
if I could just jump in there, video helps you to reach new audiences,
mhm.
right? Because of the fact that something's moved, we're attracted to movement, something is happening and we want to see what's going on. So what ends up happening is we click on that, and then we're engaging with that brand, and we're listening to that story, and depending on how that's crafted, it can really make the difference between somebody taking that next step and maybe looking at your website, maybe going to your social media page. Maybe they saw an ad with your video on it, and now they go to your social media page, find out a little bit more about you. It can really be that tool that just introduces you to a whole new segment of people that you never really would have had a chance to interact with had they not seen that little bit of motion on their screen.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's two different worlds, and the digital space does have its place.
Mhm.
It has its place. And I want to say something here too, just for fun, because this was an extravagant fact here that I saved for myself just to share with you, is that businesses that utilize video production for their messaging grow 49% faster than entities that don't. So that's another important thing, is that not only are you gaining new relationships, but do you want to grow? Do you really want to grow to that next level? And some people they'll say they're just fine. I like word of mouth. I like to stay where I'm at. But really, you can grow in immense ways. You can serve more people. And this is a quote that goes right along with this that I really appreciate. I don't know who said it first, but the best way to predict the future of your business is to create it. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking, and one of the great ways to create it is sharing your story and using video to exponentially just get that message out there. It really does work. So here we are, current relationships. Thank you. This is what's awesome about the people that are already with you. 93% of consumers find video helpful for post-purchase instructions. So you can save yourself a lot of time by making a video that explains things to people. And they're going to be happier with you because they didn't have to hear that you've been so busy and you couldn't get back to them for 2 or 3 days. There was a video right there for them to watch to get those solutions they needed. 43% of video marketers say video has reduced the number of support calls they've received, which kind of plays right into what I just said. So you can also lower your bandwidth on how many fires you have to put out. Basically, just by taking the time to record once, say it once, and put it out there. And you don't need a lot of skills to do this. You can do it with your phone. You can, and I know it's not the best thing in the world, but if you get yourself a tripod, which we'll talk about later, but just simple techniques to make it look professional. The phone's cameras are good enough now where you can put it on your website in a support section. It will work. And this is what I like too. Let's not forget, if we are real, okay, and we have real people in our community that truly want to know what we're developing. Our challenges, like Will was saying, we want to know the beginning and the end, how we overcome those challenges, what we are learning as business owners, how they can help us. Believe it or not, we have a lot of wonderful people in our business community that actually want to continue to help us beyond even just transactions. We are all naturally inclined to support those we know, like, and trust, right? Keep the lines open, and you can do that by keeping those videos out there to even your current customers.
So, question for you, how would you, I want to go back to the reduction in support calls. So,
For instance, we have a lot of solo entrepreneurs, but we do have some of our professional members that have clinics and employees. And so how would they do, like, just a kind of a quick example of utilizing video and the marketing to be able to help with that support, like as an example in like a health and wellness kind of situation or business?
Specifically health and wellness? Yeah, so what I would say is I'd find out, first, look at your process that you're already using for resolving those issues. And if there's maybe an administrator or a secretary or somebody who's like your right hand man or woman who's doing a lot of that, or if you have an automated process, pop your video in there, or have that particular person record what they're saying to everybody on those common issues, and then give it a professional page of some sort, either on your website, an automated email system that, hey, if they click on this and they say they're having issues, it automatically shoots them an email with that video, or they can just access them all right on the website. That's what I would say. There's probably a lot of other ways to use customer management systems to make that happen. But if you don't have all of that, I would just say, get the content recorded by who's commonly saying the same thing over and over and over. Of course, you won't be able to do every issue, but all of your common ones can easily be recorded, and they don't even have to be by the owner of the business. If you have yourself an assistant, have them record it. If they're, have them sign a release, whatever you got to do, and then put it right on your website or put it in your pipeline.
That kind of goes to like frequently asked questions.
Yep.
I think I was just talking to somebody that does real estate. I mean, and we have people that do real estate within our group and our community, but they kept having the same question by buyers,
right? So same question by clients or patients.
Then that might be maybe a way to,
absolutely
provide value and an answer.
Yep, troubleshooting. If you actually have a physical product, or maybe like, for instance, we have doctors in the community. There's typical things, or maybe some adversities they might feel when they're beginning of detoxifying, or they're going through a healing process. You can have some of those. Here's what to expect videos. Here's some troubleshooting. If you start to have headaches or you start having trouble sleeping, here's what to do. And then yes, frequently asked questions is a great point.
Nice. I like that.
So another way that you can utilize this, and like, again, just knowing, like, that story and understanding, say, hey, we all started out with limited beliefs, limiting beliefs, right? These beliefs can be, let's say with financial services, right? Like, hey, you know what? Gosh, I don't think I have the ability to save money, or I don't know if my wife would be supportive of me, investing in this particular type of, thing, whatever it might be. You can take those common kind of limiting beliefs as well and kind of drill down and start to address those things throughout your communication, in the form of, hey, we understand that these are some of the things that you might be feeling, or this is, these are some of the objections that people have faced in the past, right? But what we found is this, right? And here's some testimonials to show, right, that this is something that you can overcome, right? Because, John had the same concern, right? Mike had the same concern. Sally had the same concern.
Yeah.
Right. So you can really see how, like, that automating that process can give you even a line of videos or a line of follow-ups to help you to get people more ready to kind of be educated on your product, right? And once they understand that you're there to help them, and that's the biggest thing, right? Because a lot of people, they start out with these limiting beliefs and they never take that next step because it's so hard to get past those perceptions.
Yeah, and if I might,
And so
if I
you
might,
can break down barriers with that.
absolutely. I just wanted to say, great point, Will, because a lot of the things that we like obstacles or objections, we wait to till we have the interaction with the person to overcome those. But right, anything we can preemptively think about that we do with a person when we're interacting, we have the opportunity to use video to preemptively overcome
I
that
like
before
that.
they even get there.
I like that a lot. And then having that, on your page or a page, like, and it could just say frequently asked questions.
Yep.
Right? 'Cause that's what people are conditioned to.
Yep.
Oh, okay, now I get my questions answered, and
Right. Or just like a breakdown, like just breaking down barriers,
Yep.
right? And it doesn't have to be. One of the things that I see all the time, I see this happen quite a bit, right? We get into a thing where we want to can it. We want to go, okay, let's put in all this in the frequently asked questions section. And this is the section that people need to go to click on to get the answers to frequently asked questions. And we waste time and energy and effort with that, where a lot of times you can just do it through your copy as well, right?
Yep.
And through your posting as well, right? So as you're putting out information about your brand, addressing those limiting beliefs,
Yeah,
right,
it's
as you're marketing your business. And so one of the things I see that happen all the time, or I see a lot of businesses, they keep posting their pricing and their specials, all the time. It's the same thing. But what they're not doing is they're not addressing the story, right? How does it affect me? How does it help me?
Yeah.
Right?
And I love
What
you're
are the
saying,
things that
because
I'm concerned about?
it sounds like what you're saying is everything in your frequently asked questions section is a marketing video. Use it.
yeah,
Yep.
Right. Well,
one
and
of those, yep.
in leveraging your posting and all that stuff, just, answering the questions and putting that information out there gets your customers to interact with you on that social media, right? Like asking, hey, who in here finds it difficult to save money? Who in here finds it difficult to advertise their business and stay consistent with that? Now you're creating dialogue, and that can lead to, a conversation, and that conversation can lead to more business, right? How are you, who in here is having trouble with you? And you see this in some places where it's like, hey, who in here is having trouble with wrist pain, right? Who in here is feeling drained today, right? So now you're creating an opportunity for somebody to have that dialogue with your brand, and that's very important.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Beautiful. Yep. Ready when the next one.
Well said, Will. Well said. This
Yep.
is why you're part of our group. Oh, is it going?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. So the first thing, because a lot of what I want to tell you guys is how you can do these videos yourself from where you are without having to, really just lose your mind over it. You don't have to, and you don't have to overthink it. That's why this is the title of this for me was DIY video. Don't overdo it and don't overthink it. And there's a reason for that. So the first step in doing that is using what you have. So if you have friends that are professional visual arts, they're in the field, you might have heard this phrase before. If it's not the gear, it's the person using it, right? So you don't have to worry about having all the bells and whistles and all the stuff that confuses you. I think that's why a lot of times people worry about doing what the other guys are doing. And then it kind of holds you back. You get analysis or paralysis by analysis. You're like, I'm not even gonna mess with it. I'll use my phone, but I'm gonna use it to talk to my friends, or I don't see the value in using it for business, when you really do, as we've already started talking. You have so many things you can do with it. So the same is true here for your DIY projects, of course. So you have more around you than you think. You can get so much done for a very reasonable investment, and you do not need to get crazy with this. It's so easy. And if you're a business owner, I am too, and you say, I'm too busy, I don't have the time. Trust me, yes, you do. You can do it. You can do a lot. Even if you don't have an assistant, you can do things that do fit in your lifestyle, and that's what we're going to share. So how is it? Let's see if we've passed all that. Oh yeah. So just so you guys know, also, there's a lot of free tools, which we're going to talk about. The editors. You don't have to be a master editor. I'm going to tell you guys a few tricks here that will allow you to just demystify that whole thing and not get in the weeds about it, and to know when to edit and when not to. You really don't have to edit all the time. So how is it that we end up overdoing it or overthinking? And we're going to kind of break some of this stuff down here. So that first thing there, can you go back one just for a second? First thing is to not assume you have to do what the other guys are doing, which that's what I talked about. And this second one might even be bigger than the first one. Do not underestimate your people, because I think a big fear of why people don't even want to do videos because they don't want to come off seeming unprofessional. They don't want to look cheesy. They don't want to look like they don't know what they're doing, or it's and it is true. Bad video can actually do harm to your business if you're but here's the thing, you cannot make a mistake when you're being real, when you're being authentic, because it doesn't matter as long as your video is not static and your audio is not inaudible. People can hear you and see you. There, you really can't mess it up. But you can mess it up if you sit there and try to talk to your audience like they don't know what they're doing, like they don't know what they're thinking, and you're over explaining. You're overdoing it because you think you need to be like some idea in your head. You don't. Don't underestimate them, and they won't underestimate you. So you just turn on the camera and you be real and you be authentic. And so there's a couple points here that I want to just give you guys so you can kind of understand that a little further. That might be a little vague. Yeah,
I just
please.
And Kim does a lot of videos.
Mhm.
you've done quite a few. And do you do them live or do you record them?
Both,
Mhm.
but mainly they're recorded.
Recorded. You know, it's interesting is I find that when I go live,
Mhm.
unscripted, ends up being better.
Yep.
Then when I record, well, and I have someone who's doing that work for me, so I collect a lot of content and then I provide that for her and then she puts it together.
Putting it, yeah.
But I'm looking to shift to do more of what you're doing because I like how that looks.
Mhm.
It's and sometimes it's I'm driving in the car.
Yes.
It's interesting because I look at the camera, but I'm looking at the road,
Mhm.
And it's like,
yeah,
I
you
got
told me
something
some
on
of
my mind
and it's a mind dump.
Yep.
And it's calling to me to get it out. And it seems like you don't have to be.
So you
You-
record it and then you post it later.
I've done that, or I'll just go live.
And
I
you've
will go-
developed that skill set, and that's a cool thing. And some of us, it comes naturally. maybe because you've done a lot of speaking in other ways, or you've been a manager, or you've been a, whatever it might be. Some people they'll say, but that's not me. I can't do that.
You don't start there.
It's not true. You can do it. Yes, because we all do it. Everybody's got that friend they can do it with. Everybody's got that particular pocket of their life that they do it in. They just don't really, or maybe it's even just themselves in front of the mirror or with the cat or dog. They're really good listeners.
The best interviews that I've done with some members of our group, and I'm gonna call it out. Mr. Cruz, he's like, oh, I don't like video. I don't like the video. And I go, oh, and I just grabbed my camera and we just started interviewing, and it was like the best center. By the way, if you're watching this, it was an amazing, amazing video interview. And it was just right off the cuff, and he just shared from his heart about his business and what he does in such precision and clarity. And it was perfect. I actually had people later going, I want a video like that.
Yes.
And it was completely off the cuff without, like, he didn't have time to anticipate, didn't have time to, get nervous or what I'm going to say. It just, it was very conversational, but it was perfect. And I think it takes practice to do that.
It does. Yeah, absolutely. If it's not second nature, you're going to feel funny about it. You're going to lose train of thought. You're not even going, and there's actually some things in here in a little bit that go into how you can get better at it. And trust me, you can do it. It's like, you take all this stuff, you can do it with a pen and paper if you really want to start. If you're not ready to turn on that camera and you don't want to share it, there's ways to do it. You can start small. You can start, and I'll get into it here about the stream of consciousness writing. So this is what I was going to say is planning is good. And this is why we're talking about this, I believe, is when to know when to plan and when you don't need to, when to edit and when don't edit. These are all important things. And that brings me just jumping back to one more cool stat. The reason this is because right now, if you guys didn't know this, of course, video is increasing 100% annually. Still, it's amazing, video consumption. But nearly 50% of consumers are demanding more video marketing that includes human content, not salesy content, which means you've got to get that skill. You've got to get that power of saying, this is me in the moment. I didn't plan this. And we all intuitively know it. Yes, sometimes people get so good it looks scripted. But still deep down inside, we know there's something authentic about what they're doing, because it's, even if they planned this, even if they had an outline, they had a teleprompter, you can get away with a teleprompter once you've become that good at having no notes at all, at having, you ever heard an artist say, once you learn to follow the rules, then you know how to break them.
Right. Well, and I'd
True.
like to piggyback on that if at all possible, because what I really like about what you said there, Bryan, is really what we're talking about is that authenticity. I mean, in this, we have this amazing time in our life where, AI has been like just perpetually promoted, and it's given people just a vast amount of range of capabilities and everything, but to the point where it's almost become a situation where people are starting to just rely on the limitations of AI and forget about connecting with an audience in its true and rare, rawest form. And so what they do is they take the human centric aspect out of their marketing and out of their messaging and out of everything that they do, and they forget who they are at the expense of this wonderful new technology.
Right. And
right.
Funny enough that I didn't include anything. My plan was to include one note about AI in this whole thing, and I didn't even put it in there. But since we're on the subject, I will say the only thing you should use AI for your videos that I say right now from a DIY perspective is to brainstorm. If you don't have any ideas and you don't have anything clicking yet, just say, hey, give me some ideas on this subject, and then use that as your trampoline. Don't use it as your actual video.
Right.
And you actually do get a lot of great authentic ideas that come from just having things put in front of you. I treat it as basically a curator, you know, of the infinite archive of the internet. You can pull so much together that's out there without having to do all the keystrokes to actually search it all, which is pretty nice. That's the only thing I would recommend using it for from a DIY perspective. Is it okay if we go to the next one? If nobody else has any comments? So this is fun, you guys. I think you're gonna like this because this is where we get into it. And if you're still feeling like I don't know if I can do all that, just keep going, keep tracking with us. You will find your place in this. So what you do is you start to learn when not to plan and when to plan. If you find yourself getting hung up, you may need to just come back to it. Okay, if you're planning a video, just let it go. Or you may need to just decide to get on with it. And those are the key areas that I found right there, is that you're either planning too much, or you're not planning, or you are planning just right, but you got hung up. It's writer's block, call it what you want, right? Science has shown that even in studying, we retain better when we take multiple breaks. So just break it up. Maybe start the video, walk away, come back, keep working on it, walk away, come back, keep working on it. Before you know it, you'll have a completed idea. Let's see. So as Will has already hit very well, and I want to just go into it because this is the #1 thing that I stand for too. Use your story. It's the #1 thing. Be real, get vulnerable, relate to the solutions. You can tell me 100 ways to wash my window. But if I see you standing in front of me telling me the truth about who you are, and you tell me that that window, when you learn to wash that window the right way, this is what it did for you, I'm going to remember that. Not only am I going to remember that, but I'm going to be impacted forever. I probably want to work with you because it just makes sense. It's community. It's real. So if you don't know what else to do a video about with your services, just always come back to your story. Always come back to, geez, how did I get into this? Why does this matter to me? What is the point? And even your daily grind is important and valuable to somebody, because if they just know that, like, you're sitting there and you're having this challenge right now, the dogs won't shut up, I need to mop the kitchen floor, and I've sent only 2 of the 100 emails I need to send today, but this happened. This thing might light somebody's world up because it was funny, it was entertaining, it was exciting. You never know. And that's what we're going to talk about just a little bit, is that your lifestyle is important in this whole thing. So first thing, choose a space where you're going to do these videos. So no matter what, you don't have an excuse. All else could fail. You had a busy day. You didn't have a chance to film anything while you were in Winco or whatever. But you always know you have this place in your home or this place in your backyard that you can go, and you're just going to do something. Doesn't matter what it is. It could just be a check-in. Hey guys, just wondering how you guys are all doing out there. It might seem silly, but those things matter because people will get to know you. The people who haven't met you yet and the people who already love you. And then also, this helps you kind of generate new ideas. Sometimes I will go into my space 3 times in a week, and I won't have an idea until that 3rd time. But that 3rd time, and fill your space up with things that inspire you, right? So I actually have a monitor in my room that continuously plays everything I've ever made, randomly. So I will sit in there, and anytime I come to and from getting food, going to the bathroom, get some coffee, I come in and I'm hit with something that I didn't plan to see that day. And it will generate something in me that is a new way of telling a story, a new way of thinking about things. So try things like that. Find ways to stimulate and inspire yourself. Track your success, of course. Oh, and I wanted to say, embrace the learning you go through. And remember that even that is part of your process. You can make that your own learning as a business owner is marketable material. And it's valuable to other people because, once again, it goes back to the helping people know you, like you, trust you. We like to see, I read in this book once, that if you have an investor who has invested in you and then it failed, share the failure. Because that investor may just turn around and invest again because you were vulnerable with them. You were truthful. Then you succeed on the other side. Imagine how strong that relationship is. So people who have walked a journey with you, and then you helped them in their life when they saw that you were having a hard week, it bonds in their life as to why they're involved with you. It changes the whole game in their perspective of your story because you were willing to share it. And so it might seem silly. I've heard people joke about, why does everybody share what food they're eating? Well, a lot of the social stuff is silly. There's a lot of silly social stuff. But when you actually do it for the purpose of wanting to serve others, then it changes. It changes. Tracking your success can be very simple. Did your video get any likes? Did it get any views? Maybe it did on YouTube, but Rumble's doing better for whatever reason. You can look at these things very simply. You don't have to know all the statistics and be able to get in the back office and be a meta wizard of your back office. You just need to know, what am I going to look at to determine if this is actually making a difference. And sometimes you might not know for a long time. That's okay. Sometimes I've noticed things catch on after a while because I was consistent and it had nothing to do with the initial response. So don't give up. Just find a simple way that you're going to tell yourself after a certain point, is this working or is it not? And let it work for you. Don't let it be your hang up and a reason to stop doing it altogether, if that makes sense.
Now, going back to like social media, could some of it would just be algorithms with the system?
Yep.
Like how much
Others are gonna see your material go out. Does it take certain repetitions? Does it take certain kind of like hashtags for the algorithms of the different platforms to recognize, to like actually allow that to be viewed by more
Right.
people?
That's a great question. And that's part of why I say keep it simple, because there's so many methods that you can learn that will improve your results. But if it starts to interfere with your ability to continue being authentic and doing the DIY thing, don't let it get in the way. Just forget it. Because at the end of the day, we all have to scale from where we're at. And if you're not going to hire a social media manager or a video professional, or you don't have somebody who's in your current group, this is one of those areas where I feel like it's a unique dynamic, because like a plumber or an electrician, I don't go home and I do very little DIY with plumbing or electric. Okay. Number one, it's risky with electrical. And number two, how much time do I have? How much bandwidth do I have? So I do very limited, but it doesn't hold me back to say, well, can I learn this little thing? Can I do this little thing every day? Like taking care of our pipes so they don't have a problem. If that makes sense. So creating video from the DIY perspective can be the little things. So I would say in your tracking system, don't get caught up in views, likes, all the stuff that is obvious that it's working. You can do little things like, hey, are you guys liking my videos? Hey, is anybody out there actually getting these? You can do basic things to see if it's actually fulfilling what you want to have happen from where you're at in your skill set. If you get caught up in, oh, it's not working because I haven't gotten to a viral video yet and I've been doing this for 6 months, that may be because of the algorithm, like you said. It could be because of so many other things that you're just not in control of and you're not going to ever develop all the skills for. So that's okay. Don't stop doing it just because maybe you're not getting everything done with the video. But if you keep doing it, you're going to at least understand it and you're going to be present for those who do find you, if that makes sense. We can go in,
and I think
there's a lot to that.
there is so much to it. Yeah, you're right. And one of the things I really like about what you're saying there is in just simple terms, right, is being consistent, right? Like if all you have is the ability to, let's say, post a video once a month, right?
Yep.
Or, but you can be consistent about it, do that. Do what's within your bandwidth. Commit to it and track that. And use that as your measure of success, right? Because it's the habits that we build that determine how successful we will be, right, in that thing.
Yep.
Right. So if you can build good habits into kind of like your daily, weekly, monthly routine, schedule it out and have it be kind of like, hey, this is what I'm doing, and this is and understanding that there's a purpose behind it.
Absolutely.
And always keeping that purpose in the forefront, then the likes and the viral and all the things that go along with that, they'll come naturally. It'll happen, right?
Yes.
You just got to be consistent with what you can do.
Absolutely. I like that you said that. That's Thanks for bringing clarity to that, because that's what that metaphor of the plumber and electrician was about. Was one of the things I learned is that if you've got something that's pulling 1,000 to 1,500 watts, don't use a power strip. Don't use an extension cord with it. You remember those things and you consistently stay away from that, and your house doesn't burn down. Now I know that's an extreme, crude analogy, but it's true. You can look at it as the equivalent of your house burning down if you just choose not to ever do any videos, because you're missing out. And that's kind of the point. Thank you, Will, because that's a great point. It's just be consistent. Find a simple way to say, hey, I got this video right here for some reason. It's really popular. You can look at that from even a layman standpoint and say, why is that? Maybe it's the way that I did it. Maybe you're getting a lot of reaction from your live streams, but your pre-recorded ones that you plan out, they're getting your regulars, your top leaders. They're getting your strong, heavy hitters, the people who have a bandwidth to be really involved with the network, as opposed to new people that are coming in. Those things all happen for a reason. So absolutely keeping it simple, and the rest. Oh, and that last thing right there, you guys, when it comes to editing, this is another thing. Okay, there's a lot of free editors you can get out there. Some people look at it and they think it's like Greek hieroglyphs on the wall. I promise you, if you get yourself a simple free editor, which I'll share a couple ideas, options for you, you can literally decide ahead of time to be consistent. Maybe I'm just going to commit to putting my logo at the end of every video. That's the only editing I'm ever going to do. That's totally fine. Make your video, learn how to pull the video in, and put your little image file at the end and render it. And that's it. Once you learn to do that and you've committed to that, all of a sudden, in a month or two, you might be like, maybe I'm going to add music. Maybe I'm going to cut that part out I didn't like. I'm going to figure that out. You can slowly build upon what you've decided that you're going to stick to. And as long as you always decide what you're going to stick to and build on it as you can, you won't get scared, you won't get overwhelmed, and you can still utilize it. But like I said, sometimes you don't need any editing at all, which that will be part of what we talk about. Next, this section here, tips and tools. This is a fun one, you guys, because now we're going to get into how you actually do some of this stuff. And I don't know how much time we have left, but I can do a lot of paraphrasing. Okay. And of course, you guys, if you guys like this and anybody wants to have me back, we can go into more specific stuff later. But you remember before when I mentioned building a lifestyle that supports your content, that includes choosing a place you're going to do it, but it also includes where are you often at? Like, for instance, Nikki shared that she is just on fire when she's driving. She just like turns into a beast of information, right? I'm going to share this and it's going to be good and people respond. So you set up a camera in your car, or you just always have a way to have your phone on a mount. You already know this ahead of time, so you're prepared. Maybe you even have, and I'll share some audio options with you. If your audio isn't good quality where you're at, you can have your microphone already stowed away and where you know this kind of thing happens, and you get pumped up, you're ready to go. This lifestyle can also be, well, what are the things I do on a daily basis that are valuable to people and they want to know? Like, I started learning this about myself, is that it might be a little meta because it all involves video, but I was like, well, how many things am I doing all day long? This is where the DIY came from, is that I'm doing as just a given. It's so simple to me, but it might not be simple to others. You guys in the health industry, you guys in this professional realm of what your service is, you might go to the grocery store and you do things differently because of the nature of who you are. You might go down the street in your neighborhood. You might visit the local post office, community center, dentist, the way you meet and interact with people, the way you choose to have coffee, all of those things, there's something on your route that is valuable to people. And when you start to kind of pinpoint those, just write a brief list, simple list. Okay, every week I do this, and these are the things that stick out to me as to like, oh, I do kind of share that with everybody. I tell people this all the time. Write that down, and then that becomes part of your lifestyle recording habit, if you will. So now you're like, oh, every time I go and have coffee, I tend to do this, and I tend to prepare myself before I'm about to meet friends or whatever. You share that with your group. You share that. And I know I'm being vague right now because it differs so much with how all of us, but I'll give you an example. So for instance, me, I learned that before I go on set, there's a particular way. Even this toolbox is one example of how I've learned to take so just mesmerizing amounts of little pieces and parts and information and preparedness. And I've put that together as probably something I'm going to include later in a course or something, as like how you can develop these things. But scale it back to simple for your business. What is your regular everyday person going to benefit from in the way you interact? So that's where the setting up cameras and microphones so you don't have to think about it. This is where mine came in. Is a basic thing. The biggest hiccup we have is that, oh, I don't have the equipment ready. So I lose my train of thought, I lose my inspiration, well, have it already ready. That's one of the first things I realized as a video producer is that not everybody thinks this way. Not everybody does it that way. You got your vloggers, you got your Casey Neistats or whatever, the big YouTube people. They learned to do that, but when vlogging became a big thing, if you guys remember that. But still, no business owner was like, oh, I could do vlogging, because now we've got a perception of what vlogging looks like. I don't want to record every minute of my day. I don't want everybody to see everything I'm doing. Well, you don't have to. You just, once again, you take these pinpointed spots in your lifestyle, if that makes sense. So anybody, any questions on that? We could go into that with more specificity. But if you have a friend that supports you, ask them to kind of run a camera on you sometimes. Sometimes you get into this mode with people and I know it and I'm your friend and I'm just going to turn on my phone camera when you do it. It could be great content, amazing videos that you're just not going to capture from your own perspective. That's okay. Have a friend help you. And lots of people do this actually. Use natural light whenever possible, because so many people will do terrible videos and they don't mean to, but it's because they just start recording and they don't think about the lighting. Well, now you can just have a general rule of thumb. If you've got a window, stand in front of it. If you've got natural light anywhere, use it as opposed to the dark room that you might have been in. And it's a quick, if you've got it in the back of your mind now, you can do that every time and your videos will look way better. Set aside time blocks to dedicate to learning something new about your videos, especially studying the videos that you appreciate in your industry. So if you're a Reiki master or you're specialize in herbal supplements, go and watch what other people are doing and commit maybe every week or however much time you have to what else can I learn about recording something about this. If you do that, even if it's just literally 20 minutes a week, you pick some time, I promise you, you will be blown away about how much inspiration comes and how easy this becomes to create something new. You're going to be like, shoot, I didn't even think of that. I could totally do this. And it's amazing. Even these phones, a lot of them have macro capabilities. So you can do some crazy fun stuff with your camera if you just go and set the time aside to say, I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to be inspired. And you start actually feeling like you've got a handle on this. And it's easier to manage in your busy schedule because you don't get all caught up on the I'm not a video person. Your story is powerful. We're coming back to that. Document your journey, document your growth, whatever that looks like. That kind of goes with your lifestyle too. But this is a different area where you can literally record the raw stuff. I was just finished crying and now I'm putting on my mascara again. Isn't this great, guys? By the way, go to my website.
That's terrible.
You know what I mean? It's terrible.
Well, and I like, personally, like, behind the scenes, right? Like,
Yes.
hey, I'm a fitness consultant and I'm going shopping for one of my clients. And let's go ahead and take you on a tour of how that looks, what that looks like when I'm putting together a meal plan for you, right? And how they compare and how they look and read labels and all of that stuff, right? Or, let's say, for instance, like, you're maybe you're trying to network with other, healthcare providers and video yourself walking in, right, to the healthcare provider's, shop and having a conversation with the front desk person and letting them know who you are, right? Taking people like tag along videos, those types of things can really just be super quick and very effective. Like, it doesn't have to be, like you said, the crying mascara thing, right? Go see my website. It can be like just a part of your everyday that people are interested, because people want to
Yes.
know how the thing is made, right? People want to know how things get accomplished, you know, and if they can have access to you, kind of that behind that scenes, unedited, without all the flashy effects and all the stuff that you have available with filters, right? Then that's another opportunity for you to be real, and another opportunity for somebody to feel like they are truly connecting with somebody that could probably relate to them.
Yep.
I'd like to, this reminds me of, we've got a couple of our community members that had a class coming up, and they were doing a Zoom interview of each other, right? But the one was preparing the goods, right? So preparing the items that they're going to be using for the class, so dipping them in paraffin and getting that all prepped. And so it was actually a very fascinating, watching the two talking, but the one, she was preparing these items, like whether it's the food prep or the candles or it was actually very entertaining. So they were having their conversation while she was working and not really making eye contact, but occasionally, but it was actually more engaging.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like being that you felt like
Yeah.
you're a fly on the wall, engaging in the preparation.
Yep.
You feel like you're part of the experience, right? You're part of the conversation. You're part of the preparation, right? Because, they're doing it from that point of view kind of thing. You're inviting them to check it out. Hey, I'm going in to talk to, this particular business today. Come and check it out with me, right? Let's have some fun, right? Let's go for a walk and talk. These are simple things that you can do to just be like, hey, I'm trying, I'm in the health and wellness business. I'm out here and I'm going to do grounding today. Come and check it out. This is how I do it, right? Hey, let me know what your favorite techniques for doing that is, right? So you don't have to be a master at coming up with all of these concepts. Just doing what you do a lot of times can bring people in to recognize that, hey, you're a real person, and this seems like a person that I want to work with.
Yep.
And you come front of mind, right?
Yes, and there's that. My mind's gone a million things with what you said, and that actually brings me to, like, I've wanted to teach people about on the spot videos. It's a concept I came up with that I'm actually selling as an option. It's kind of a neat thing, and DIYers can do it because it's what you just said, well, where you bring people into the experience with simple techniques of just, we all know what to look for when we want to experience something, right? But we kind of just learn to reverse engineer it in the form of showing others. So we're sharing this, we're showing, and you get good. A lot of people have started to become naturally inclined in it because of social media, so we're like, oh, I'm gonna take a picture of this, take a picture of this. But then you start realizing, oh, it's a bunch of little things like that put into one expression. So you start learning, oh, I can walk into a place and I can snap that, I can snap that, I can snap that. Here's the speaker, here's a couple cool little sound bites, and then here's something somebody was building over here, and then that you've got this whole expression. And that's all you're really doing in the story, but that's for another time. But really, really exciting stuff. I love that you shared that. And it's also, this reminded me of another thing too, is that when you ever heard the phrase, it's amazing what you're capable of when your life depends on it? This is kind of a similar thing, where if you truly believe your business depends on you telling its story, sharing the videos, creating the simple videos from where you are, you will develop a way, like a hardened will that says, hey, if all else fails, this is what I will make. If I can't think of anything by the end of the week, I will at least make this. Even if it's just something simple that says, hey guys, still in business here. I'm here. Can you all hear me? Love you. Visit my website. It could be so simple that you might not think anybody would like it, but somebody's going to chuckle at that. Somebody's going to like that. Somebody's going to appreciate that because they're like, wow, this person's putting themselves out there. Totally know how they feel. I feel that sometimes when I'm waiting for people to, show up to meetings or whatever. And you're like, this guy, I feel like I get him because he's just willing to do it. And they're going to like that video, even if you thought it was stupid.
There's a lady that I watch her a lot. She does a lot of really content like you're talking about, you know, some very nice videos in the camera talking about her products and everything. But and I know her personally, but not real well. Well, last night she posted something, and I know it was just an off the cuff. She was being funny, but because I have this experience with her where I watched, I've never engaged really. Sometimes I might send a heart or something if I see it, but I'm not really engaged and interested necessarily in her product, but I like her, right?
Yeah.
Well, she posted something last night. It was so simple, and you know what I'm talking about because I commented on it. But she had been wearing her dress inside out all day, and she just took a quick snapshot and showed
That's
the tag.
perfect.
And you know what it did for me?
Yes.
I was like, I get you, sister. I see you.
There it
I
is.
feel you. And even though it was a quick picture, the reason I've been sitting here listening to what you're talking about, she doesn't just post those all the time. But when she did it, she was in the moment. She didn't go into a bunch of details. She didn't have this whole dialogue about it. She didn't condemn herself. She was just like, who else noticed that I have my dress on? Like, duh. You're like, she's just at the end of the day going, I've been
Having
busy.
fun with it.
And she,
Right.
but she put no judgment on it at all. She let others put a judgment on it.
Yes.
And it elicited a comment from me because I also have engaged with her, even though because I'm somewhat interested in how she markets. She's fun and engaging, and so I watch her for the same reasons that you were mentioning. That I want to learn from her, you know, because she's doing things. I'm like, oh, this is funny.
Yes.
Maybe I could do that. Oh, and she mixes it up, and she keeps me interested in her life and her experience and her business. And I actually engaged with her on something that was took her literally 30 seconds.
Yes.
And it was just in a moment of, oh, that's funny. I'm going to share that with my people, my tribe. And that is the authentic stuff that how I want to do it. Part of the reason I want to take this back and DIY it is because I don't feel, I have gone through multiple people who helped me with it. And I don't feel that it's my voice. And I'm continually saying, that doesn't sound like me. How can you not get me? I don't, this is not me. I want it to be me. And so it must be coming from me. And I want to be like that, like she is, whether she has someone else who's doing the editing, but it still feels it's her because I literally see the words coming out of her mouth.
Yep.
And so when I literally see the words coming out of someone's mouth, it has to be them, right? Unless I can tell they're reading a script and then it's not really authentic. So this is all resonating really clearly for me. And
I love what you're
appreciate it.
sharing here too, because this that is a perfect point in the fact that everything you share does not have to, kind of like what Will said earlier too, it does not have to be a pitch. It does not have to have your pricing, your offer. What I look at it as is treat it as if it's a never-ending gathering. And when we show up here, I'm not gonna, even if we were all here for business purposes, didn't know each other, you don't spend the whole time saying, hi, I'm Bryan, I do video. Hi, I'm Bryan, I'm do video. No, you engage and you find that personal place, and you're always sharing things about you that may have nothing to do with your business, but someone's going to work with you because maybe you had the same dog. Maybe you had, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
Because a day I wore my dress inside out.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, you know, I get you. I can feel that.
And if I might say one more thing, this is, if you haven't read this book, it's called The Go-Giver. If you've ever heard of it, super awesome book. There's a part in there that I will never forget. Yeah. It's an amazing book, and there's a part in there that I will never forget is when he says, I felt like I was supposed to go serve everybody coffee, but I felt really that he felt the main character felt very foolish and or just embarrassed, weird, awkward. But he learned that that's what service is sometimes. You're supposed to get awkward. You're supposed to get out there and do it anyway. That's what service is. It doesn't always feel good. It doesn't always feel like you're the man in the cape. You know, sometimes it feels like you're the weird, you're the weird person. And that's how it's supposed to be.
And it's, I think that, and we won't get too far off tangent, but when it comes to, and I'm just going to share a tip too. So I always say the voice in my head says video. So I'll meet somebody new. So we had GSD Monday here at Unbound, and we took a walk, and I ended up at Craven's candy shop, and the owner was there, and I was like, oh, and then the voice in my head said, video, video, and I have to listen, and it's spirit just saying, it's do a video, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I'd love to do a video with you if you're the owner. And she's like, yeah, I don't even do videos for myself, but yes. And it wasn't, it
How
was,
a lot of people are too.
but the story, like there was no script, it was not planned. And I just started rolling, and she started telling me how the soda fountain bar was where her husband's mom and dad met. And it's the exact same one where they met, and they put it in the candy shop. And I wouldn't have
That's
learned that
crazy.
otherwise. And it was such just like an immediate story. And she's like, well, let's go look at it. And so we walked over, and you know, and I always ask, what inspires you to start your business, or what brings you joy? And it was the joy that I asked her. And she just loves watching families come in together and share all the memorabilia and sharing the memories, completely unscripted. But when we got done, she just gave me a big hug, and she said, you made my day.
That's
You
awesome.
made my day.
Yep.
And it's just really
And
about
that's
serving, right?
Yeah, I love that.
and that's the thing, right? That's exactly it, right? It's that story. That's what connects us. That's what makes it special. That interaction is special. Now, if you would have just gone in there and she would have just been like, hey, pay for my candy, here's the candy, $2.95 plus tax. Okay, great. See you later, right?
Mhm.
You move from the story is how you transcend the transaction with every single interaction that you have. If you're a business owner,
Yep.
and you're not focused on the story helping you to transcend that transaction and really truly connect with with your potential customers, past, present, and prospective customers,
Mhm.
you're missing out.
Yep.
You're missing out on so much opportunity. And I'm not just talking about financial opportunity, right? I'm talking about truly connecting with somebody on a deeper level that may be an advocate for you in the future for your business, right?
And you
Or that
you
may
might-
be somebody, go ahead.
I was going to say, and you might agree also, is that not only are you missing out as the business owner, but it might be a punch in the stomach to realize that you're not serving those who need you.
Yeah. Well, you don't have the opportunity, right? Because you've created a box for yourself that you're not willing to step out of because you're so focused on the transaction and where that next transaction is going to come from.
Right.
And that is not living in abundance.
Yep.
Truth. Truth.
Truth. And now the last part that, because I know we got to wrap up, right? This last part that you guys have probably been most excited about is what tools do you need to do this? Very simple stuff, guys. You just need a camera, which we all know that. But if you're looking around and you're thinking, oh, I don't have a professional camera, I don't have GoPro. Yeah, I have a cell phone. I don't know what the capabilities are. You just turn it on. Everybody knows how to use their camera, I'm sure, at this point. And it can even be an old cell phone. If you don't want to use your current phone, you can use an old one. It doesn't matter as long as you've got something to record with. Audio is half the experience. So this is a big part, which I want to share with you guys. This is super important, okay? And this is something I coach people constantly on because you will scroll through a lot of videos, and believe it or not, you might be doing it subconsciously. I know I have. You will skip past the videos that sound horribly echoey. They sound horrible. They just, even though you like the person, there's people I really like and I follow, but I won't listen to many of their videos because they're just not pleasing to sit and listen for 20 minutes. Because it's just, you're kind of, and it's not their fault. They just haven't been educated. So that's why I wanted to share this. You can do this very simply, very basic. I'm serious. You go to this Pop Voice lapels mic link here. By the way, all the links in this, I'll make sure that Nikki has, and they can get out to all you guys, however that's appropriate. You can literally spend $20 on an amazing mic, and it gets even simpler. You can plug it straight into the phone or camera, whatever you're using. So there's no editing needed. It will immediately line it up with the audio, and you will have a better quality all the way around. So I recommend that highly. And yes, even the phones that all they have is a C cord, they don't have a jack, all those adapters are on there. Now, if you want to go the extra mile, I did list there the Olympus digital recorder, which I highly recommend. It's very professional, very cheap. It's only like $70. You can buy that and plug in. You get even better quality audio And then if you decide to run to your editor, you can do very simply line up the video and audio, and you'll have an amazing experience with that. If you decide you want to go that route, get a tripod with a phone mount. Even if you have another camera, I recommend this, because even if you're using a DSLR or you've got a GoPro or you've got something, I say get the phone mount anyway, because there's going to be a lot of times you want to use your phone. And it's not always appropriate to have the phone moving around with your hand. Sometimes you don't want that. You want it just nice and still, and I'm focused. And sometimes the person next to you is, because it's hard to do an interview with somebody where everything's kind of moving constantly.
3-minute limit on this arm.
What? Yeah, exactly. And it's tiring. It's tiring.
It's starting
Yep.
to shake.
So get a tripod, get a phone mount.
I got a really strong right arm. I don't know about the left one.
That's right.
It's probably got it 1 minute.
Exactly. If you see people switching around, that's how you know what's going on.
I have a shaky finger, so there you go. There you go.
Exactly. Let's see. Okay, and then here's the last couple things. After you get your tripod, it'll help you. It's obviously that's going to help. So the free editors, okay, these are awesome, completely free, and it still blows my mind that Blackmagic is free, but I'm going to say that quietly because I want it to stay that way.
Good stuff.
This is they use it in all the big movies. I mean, this one is amazing. Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve. You can go and get it for free. Now, it does have a little bit of a steeper learning curve. Yes, in the numbered section down on 5. On 5 under the now for tools section. Oh, you know what? Forgive me. It's actually up in the number 4. Free editors include Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve. Lightworks. Now, Blackmagic is a little bit steeper learning curve, so you can get simpler ones like Lightworks. Hit Film is very user-friendly, and Shotcut. There's some of them that are going to be a little bit, they're not quite Windows Movie Maker. They're more professional than that, step up, but they're a lot simpler to use. You can also go on that link which I can give you on techradar.com. It gives you several other options if you decide. Now, this is a great thing here. Oh, what do we have here? Oh, you included a couple others.
Yeah.
Filmora, Canva. Yep. Those are other good options as well. Yep. And now stock footage is cool because if you do decide to do some basic editing, you can portray a lot of great ideas with stock footage. And there's tons of free options here. We got pexels.com, pixabay.com, VidEasy, Mixkit is amazing. It's a great place where you can get some just phenomenal footage, like really good stuff. You got to search a little bit. You got to figure out how the website works, but it's not that hard. And then vidsplay.com as well. And of course, Canva as well. Now, I did not include this on there because I realized it last minute. So I'm going to tell you guys there's also free audio. So as you just develop your editing skills slowly but surely, you may want to include some sound effects or audio if you're doing different things like that. One of them is freemusicarchive.org. That place is phenomenal. You got hundreds of thousands of free music. You can search by genre. You can, I think they've even got it set up now where you can search by mood. You can search by feeling, emotions. And then also freesound.org is a place to get just an endless library of sound effects. Now, these are cool because sometimes you want to be funny, you want to do this or that and add in a sound effect, or you might want to have a sound effect for your logo. Really basic stuff you can do once you figure out how to plop you can drag and drop sound files right into your editor. It's not hard, and you start to learn how those timelines work. You can do a lot of fun stuff with these, and it's all free. The only thing you're going to be spending money on is maybe a $20 mic and your tripod. So you guys can do this. And remember, last little note I had is your story is always enough. Just remember that. Anything you're trying to do, you can always come back to that.
I love it. I love it. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Will.
For Q&A,
Q&A.
so everybody has a phone.
Yep.
What are some basic settings for video that you would suggest? Because we talked about this. And so I'm gonna pull my phone out if anybody's on here.
I'm gonna go to my camera and go to video, and what are some basic settings that we would want to have it on?
Yeah. So you can, of course, use just the typical video option right when you first go in, and it does everything auto for you. But the fun part is pretty much all iPhones and Androids now come with a Video Pro mode, which is really neat because now you can kind of have that cutting edge extra layer of professionalism right on your phone. What I would say though, starting with the first thing I said, is just even the automatic one, the very basic automatic video mode. There's a couple different feelings that you can create even just by choosing your frame rate. And the frame rate, everybody will see in the top section here typically. You're choosing, am I shooting in 30 frames a second or 24 or 60? You can change those around, and it also changes your resolution. Now, one thing I would say is remember most social media is topping out at 1080p, which is just regular HD. So if you're shooting in 4K, that's okay, but you don't really have to.
So like on my phone, there's 8K, UHD, FHD, and HD.
Yep. So full HD is actually what we would call 1080p. Remember back in the day when the first high definition video came out, it was all exciting. That was 720p when that first came out, and the DVDs
I
and
don't know
everything.
where you are. I know that I went there, but where did you?
Are you on
find-
iPhone?
No.
Okay, so see up at the top where it's you've got like your settings gear in the top left,
Yeah,
and then there's a flash lightning
Yeah.
symbol, and then you got probably a couple other things. All the way to the right, there's going to be one that says a number.
it's a little box with this weird little curlicue in it.
Oh, may I see?
Yeah.
Let's see if yours
And-
is different layout. Okay, yeah, you have a slightly different layout. So you have your ratio here. That looks like it's a squiggle. Okay. So it looks like, has it been a while since you've updated? Maybe. Let's see. So if we hit settings button, yours is actually in there. See how it says rear? That's your rear
video.
camera.
Okay.
So now you're choosing your resolution and frames per second there, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes.
They just, with updated software, they put it up on the main front options here. So now you should also see different resolutions and then also frames per second.
Mhm.
Now the reason I said different feelings is because, so live TV kind of has a 30 frames per, or actually live is typically, like your soap opera vibe is typically 60 frames a second. 30 frames per second is more like broadcast TV. Kind of has that feeling of like news anchor feeling. 24 frames per second is more of that cinematic movie feel. So you kind of decide on where you want to be. It's really a stylistic choice. You don't have to do one or the other. But I myself tend to shoot everything in 24 frames a second. The reason that is, science has shown our eyes see 24 frames a second. So the motion blur from that is most natural to the viewer experience. But if you're going for that like studio TV feeling, you can go 30 or you can go 60.
So all of mine are 30 choices.
Mine's a
Oh.
30 or 60.
Okay.
choice.
Yep, so you got 30 or 60 on yours. Some of them do not offer the 24 unless
So it'd be more recommended.
I've noticed they've done that with the newer ones too. I believe, let's see, how did they change it? Oh, now what they've done is they've moved the 24 frames a second. Yes, there you go. Yep, so yours is still available in the option. What I've noticed about the updated apps is they've moved it to the Video Pro mode. So now you have to go to Pro Video to get 24.
We're like in
Hey.
the moment.
Hi there, in the moment.
We're doing in the moment.
I
We're doing
love that.
Fireside chat. Oh, we should do an example. Are you ready to go?
Let's do an example.
Oh, we're gonna do it. Okay, you wanna go live?
Let's do it.
Okay, so this is an example of going
See,
live.
step one, don't be scared. Overcome that fear.
Okay, we're gonna do an example just for fun. You ready for this, Kim?
What are we doing?
Facebook Live.
Okay.
See, even my heart beats a little bit for a second. Does your heart beat? See, we're all human.
Like a hummingbird.
And we're going live in 3, 2, 1. Hello, friends and family. So we are here in Meridian, and this is my friend Bryan,
Hi.
and we've got Kim Harrison. And what we do, part of GeoWorld Network, is we do fireside chats. And so this is our business development, and where we bring experts in the field of different elements that help support our business. And today's topic is marketing and helping with our video and podcasting. I think did I cover that?
Yes.
We're going to maximize it. So quick nugget, golden nugget of information you'd like to recap from today's fireside chat.
Golden nugget. Trust in the way you've been made and who you are, and allow that documentation to serve the community. Trust me, somebody out there needs to hear from you.
And documentation means video yourself, share authentically.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
Yes. And tell your story, because guess what? We all have some wisdom to share. We all have something that, guess what, we do really, really well, and others want to hear about that. They want to learn about that. There's something important that we all have to serve and share. So, little recap, anything for you, Kim?
I just found out that there are a lot of really cool free resources out there that I didn't know about. Free audio, free music, and a lot of free tools that now I can play with. So I'm excited about that.
Yes. I know. Oh, and Will. Okay, Will, you're gonna pop up on the screen. We got Will Green.
Yeah, I can do that.
We're going live. See, this is the fun part. Okay.
We're going live.
I love to see
So three things, guys, right? Number one, be consistent with whatever you do, right? That is so very important. Number two, it's not a job, right? Have fun with it, experiment, play. And number three, don't be afraid to ask for help. You have a wonderful resource here with the GOL network, and the friends that they've made in the community with BSG Connect and Bowermaster Productions, and even Boise Media Works, right? We're all here to help and support this community. So don't be afraid to ask for help, because we're all here to help.
I love it. Thank you, Will. Thank you. I see you guys we've got a handful of people. We've got some of our members on here watching.
Woo!
We have a friend, an old friend that he's watching. Hi, Jeff. I went from first grade through college with him.
Wow.
Oh, it's been so long.
See, more aspects of story.
I know. So he's in Oregon right now. I think you're in Oregon.
It's amazing.
Still in Oregon. Yeah, that's where I came from.
That's awesome.
Migrated to Idaho 15 years ago. Haven't looked back. Haven't looked back.
We still want to see the Oregon coast. We haven't seen it yet. We're gonna check
Well,
that.
coast for a reason. It's not a beach.
Yeah. Was that right? Is all
The
the
Oregon
rocks and-
coast is stinky and windy and cold. I know.
Oh, I love the Oregon coast. No way.
That's why they're hiring her for the state website, right?
All right.
I 100% love the Oregon coast. Are you kidding me?
Oh, it is great. I know. But
See?
it's called the coast. It's not called the beach.
There's nothing like live stream with
There's no
healthy
believe it.
discourse, right?
All right. Love you all. Hopefully you guys get something out of this. If you guys missed out, GOL Network is amazing. And we have amazing people like Bryan and Kim and Will, part of our community, and just supporting each other and lifting each other up. So have a safe and a fabulous Father's Day weekend, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye. Done.
That's how it's done.
Unscripted.
And drop the mic.
That reminded me of one thing that always sticks with me. It's one of my driving forces in doing this work is since the fire, we've been telling stories. And I like that as like a thing, because obviously stories existed probably before the first fire. Maybe not, maybe it was a bunch of grunts. I don't know if you believe in Neanderthals and all that. But since we've all gathered and sat around the fire, we've been telling stories, and that was our entertainment. That was like, I bet you storytelling was the entertainment even before music. So it's valuable.
And not just entertainment, it was our history.
Yeah.
It was our school. It
Yep.
was how we oral history is very, very important. And
Absolutely.
And isn't that,
and
It
we're
was
sitting
everything.
at the fireside chat.
Isn't that?
Yeah.
you're bringing this
Isn't
up.
that awesome? I should
Yeah, we need to have,
do it.
yeah. It's the fireside chat. And then like, we showed each other, right? We showed each other how to string the bow, right? We showed each other how to harvest, right? And crafts and create and make,
And everything
right?
had been passed down generation to generation this way.
We
Yeah.
and that's what we're doing here, right?
Yep.
We're showing each other how to do things, and that's true connection, right? That's not just a list of people on an Excel spreadsheet that has been handed to you for networking purposes.
Right.
It's a
We
big
don't do
difference.
that here.
Big
Yep.
difference, right?
Yeah,
Big
big difference. Absolutely. Well, I think what we'll do, any other questions before we close it up? Okay. Well, thank you.
Oh, I do have one question. What is your next video gonna be?
Oh, we need to get, Kim, you gotta come over. We're gonna do a screenshot.
Oh,
We're gonna come over and we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Oh, we're gonna say actually, we'll just keep it on the recording. It's fine.
I look kind of funny with my sunglasses.
I know you're.
I like the
she's
sunglasses.
chilling.
I've got that. My future's so bright.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Oh, shoot, I gotta do it.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Okay, ready? Okay, everybody
Hey.
smile. 1, 2, 3.
Extra cheesy.
That's what it was. Extra cheesy.
Okay, we're gonna sign off. I'll make sure that I got those pictures. Much love, you guys. We'll look forward to seeing you at the next Fireside Chat in July.
Have fun being amazing.